What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys with one of the few videos I have actually left to talk about for the channel. And of course, I have to pay some recognition to Puzzles and Dragons. It being one of the other focuses of the channel when it was on the channel itself. There are numerous videos for, for this channel that have Puzzles and Dragons content in it. And I figure because of it being the 10 years the channel's been up and I am celebrating its anniversary, why not talk about Puzzles and Dragons overall? And the one thing about Puzzles and Dragons, just a bit of history about the game itself, is that it is a puzzle game that has a lot of RPG aspects to it. You build teams that have various classes to themselves. You have leaders who do various actions. And the whole gimmick is you pretty much match puzzle game, and you do damage to enemies, and you clear dungeons, and you get rewarded for clearing those set dungeons. The crazy thing about the Puzzle and Dragons series is that it's been out for almost 8 years now. It's on the 7th, and it just celebrated 7th in November of 2019. Large aspects of Puzzle and Dragons itself is that it has hit some of the media within. There is a Puzzle and Dragons video game. There's two Puzzle and Dragons video games, actually. Both of them for the Nintendo systems. There's the Puzzle and Dragons Z and Puzzles and Dragons uh, the one that just showed up down there on the bottom screen for advertisements. There's one on the Switch that just recently came out, and so you have probably have seen them talk about it. Yeah, Puzzles and Dragons Gold is the one that is on the Switch, and Puzzles and Dragons Z is the first one that came out. And then there's also the crossover that it has with Super Mario, where there's a Mario variation of Puzzles and Dragons, which has not been on mobile. And actually, it's shocked that there was no mobile version of Puzzles and Dragons for, the collaboration between Puzzles and Dragons. Speaking of collaborations, yes, within the game's content, it has a ton of collaborations within other crossovers that Gung Ho, the guys behind Puzzles and Dragons, have various other mobile games that are attached to it, as well as various other collaborations from some of our biggest hits. Like there's the Common Rider collaboration. We have the Puzzle and Dragons cross Power Rangers, a lot of the various anime such as Bleach, um, Persona, because Persona is also a video game as well. Well, it started as a video game, then there's a lot of the animes that follow. Inuyasha and stuff like that, so forth, so forth. Even to some of the bigger names, just like Dragon Ball Z has a collaboration with Puzzles and Dragons. So there's a lot of um, things that it has under its belt in terms of crossovers. Some a lot better than others. But the whole thing about Puzzles and Dragons itself is it being a mobile game, it did have to stand against the odds, and then going from mobile to console wasn't too much of a trip because I haven't heard any negative things about the games itself because they do work very well on both the 3DS because of it having a stylus and everything. The Mario version wasn't too bad, and then of course it has a sequel in Puzzle and Dragons Gold. The overall consent that I've had with Puzzle and Dragons for the last few years. Personally, I've played this game for 6 years now, and I am working on six, finishing six, working on seven. No, working on five, going on six, and I believe we just hit seven. So by the time I hit my seventh year, the game will be hitting its eighth. And the game itself, I do have to break into it. Yeah, it is a gotcha. And you do have to be very careful and strategic of how you want to play the game itself. The in-game currency for this is magic stones and in gold. The gold you get automatically. They spew gold every time you complete challenges. You defeat enemies within dungeons, within the dungeon layout itself. They reward you for a lot of accomplishments with the gold and other items. And then the main thing is the rare egg machine. Just like a lot of other games, you get the chance to roll from this particular device, and it allows you. Actually, we can go into and I can actually show you guys what a lot of the in-game stuff is, because the menu itself has changed within the last 7 years of it starting. Because it started in 2000. If it's been 7 years, so working on 8. So 2012 was when this game was first released. I do remember hearing of the beta, and I just wanted to give you guys a little sense. This is pretty much what the layout is for itself. That is the rare egg machine. That's the PAL machine, and that is one of its in-game collaborations. That is the New Year's collaboration to celebrate Chinese New Year, as well as just celebrating New Year in general for both Chinese New Year and then of course the regular New Year following the Christian calendar in a sense. But no, this one is based off of the Chinese New Year and the celebration of Chinese New Year. But for the most part, attached to that, yeah, these are gotcha situations. And because of the whole law that is behind gotchas and loot boxes, they do have the lineup where they show you the roll rate of what you'll potentially roll from each machine and how often, I mean, what the percentage rate of the rolls are from it. Um, I think just like any other information that has been given from a Puzzle and Dragons player, don't roll unless you're guaranteed that you'll roll something that you want. If they're not in the monster exchange, I would be very cautious about rolling such as well, just because that's also been a big thing through my experience of it and through what a lot of the players have told me over the years. You know, don't roll unless it's something good that you could potentially get from it. I've had a lot of people roll from the Godfest, which is an event that happens every 2 weeks, in which you're able to roll from what they call Godfest exclusives, which is exclusive monsters to the game, and you have the chance of you have a low chance of rolling them, but they are very potent in a lot of the things they do, and they have a lot of great evolutions and assists to them. Then there is, of course, just you got to be careful what you roll. You can always exchange monsters for other monsters. There is a chance that they may not be exchangeable, so do be careful of that when you do roll from those types of events. And then just overall, like it is a pretty fun game. It's just it has a lot of its gotcha mechanics to it that can make someone not want to play it, or make someone who's like, okay, I'm okay with spending the money if I need to buy the in-game currency of magic stones and then rolling the magic stones. Because for every basic roll from an RDM, that's the adaptation for it, is about 5 stones. The only chance it's ever different is if it's a super Godfest or a player choice Godfest, in which the roll count is doubled to, I believe it's 10. And I think that's the highest it's ever been. It's never been over 10 magic stones. And I think the lowest has always been 5. So, my personal experience with Hostess and Dragons over the years, um, in terms of just the overall thing, uh, started 2014, and actually you can pull up my user info. Started in 2014 with this account, and it was actually a pretty big trip at that time. I don't know why my user stuff is not user history. There you go. So yeah, it's been a wild ride with it. Um, because the only like the big things that you get from this are just like memorial machines where you can roll from various monsters throughout specific events. You have a ton of monsters that you get in game. There's a lot of just live streams and stuff like that attached to Gung Ho that they just start spewing out freebies, which is always a nice to get some freebies, especially when they offer them. So I did start 2014 and been playing since. I've had a lot of friends. I didn't know I had a lot of friends playing this, and I didn't know a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players played this as well. Um, but the community itself is very large, especially for a game that's 5 million plus in downloads over the last 8 years, and well, yeah, 7 to 8 years, and then just the large amount of it that kept me playing actually was just taking the chance of rolling from specific dungeons and trying to keep a lot of things together. Now, in terms of me being a player of this, I would consistently say I am the casual because I really don't roll a lot from RDMs. I do exchange a lot of my monsters just if there's a better option, and then build my teams accordingly. Um, God, when I don't even remember the last time I live streamed Puzzle and Dragons. I think it was literally last year, and I think it was like in the middle of the year that I live streamed, and I think that was the last one. Um, the last video for it prior to the Yu-Gi-Oh collaboration, which this does have, I think was just me talking about the reason why I stopped doing a lot of the stuff itself. Um, after the few years that I have posted videos and done live streams for it, was just a simple. I enjoy the game for what it is, but due to a lot of the just here and there of it, I did not want to constantly have to deal with that or explain myself to players about the choices that I made within the game. Because if you pay to win, you pay to win. And sometimes your roles may not always be what you want them to be, but most of this is gotcha. Most of this is here. I have the chance to either keep the freebie stones, or I can just pay out for a pack of stones and then bam. Because they have now talked about that they wanted to do a what was it? They wanted to do a subscription for Puzzles and Dragons, where they want to, if you subscribe to them, you get rewarded for subscribing each month, or you get a subscription payment, um, and then for each month you get a specific thing. They still haven't worked out a lot of the things yet, but that was the last thing they majorly informed us about. Then on top of that, like the whole like the community itself, when I look at it, is kind of just a remnants of what Yu-Gi-Oh's community is, where there are people who want to help you, and then there are people who feel they are the elitist, and that what they say goes. And I think that's also been one of the reasons why I did not want to do any more of the Pokemon game, because for me it's just a whole experience of the game. Just I am not very, I still to this day I still try to figure out how is this a very quote competitive game when the only multiplayer aspect of it is just you and other players teaming up to complete dungeons. There are ranked dungeons, but those scores are based on how much progress you have as it's pretty much a test of your skill, which I still don't understand how that factors in, but yeah, I guess it's how they want to call it. Like I can understand stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon and stuff like that, but I just didn't really see how Puzzles and Dragons itself holds itself together. Um, Nor did I just at a point was, yeah, at a point I just said screw it. If it wants to be competitive, it can be competitive, um, and I really just didn't care at that point. So I didn't focus teams based on what someone else was using, or I didn't focus teams based off of what everyone was trying to run for. I just, if I seen it was good and I had it, I played it, and if I didn't like it, I just went on. Um, I think even more so with a lot of the later aspects of it, I just threw what I had into it. I think the biggest assets of um, playing the game itself was just seeing what I rolled, because I rolled some of the good stuff, rolled a lot of the good stuff at points too, and then had a lot of low points of things I rolled that I did not want to roll um, when looking at it. So it is aspects of itself that just keeps itself going. I didn't, when I look back at it now, I don't regret a lot of the things that I did for Puzzles and Dragons. I just wish I had a lot more stability behind a lot of the things that I did without being questioned about a lot of the things that I did. And I think at a point that I should have said, okay, I'm only doing this, this, and this, because I am only doing this and this. I think that would have been well received in just, back and forth with a lot of people over a lot of the little petty things that I did, which, like I said, it was my choice to do such. And, you know, hey, if I'm losing in dungeon and they say you want to pay the magic stone to keep yourself in the dungeon, I'm keeping myself in the dungeon because I definitely need stuff for it. So, like, that's the only legitimate thing. And I still don't understand how people get mad about that. But it's to each his own. And I follow the rules that I follow. So if you're gonna be a gotcha game, you're gonna give me a freebie to save myself from getting wrecked in the dungeon. I'm gonna save myself from getting wrecked in the dungeon. I'm not starting all the way back at the start. Um, and at that point, you can just buy magic stones. So, which I don't understand when people constantly try to hide that little factor. Like, we don't talk about the magic stone. No, I'm talking about the magic stone. I'm talking about how you can really just buy these things like hotcakes. So, yeah, and um, that ended up being part of the reason why I stopped doing a lot of the live streams and started doing a lot of the videos themselves, was just the heinous critique of everything um, that was Puzzle and Dragon. And oh, you just should build this with this card, and you should build that with that card. And I think that at the point was just I should have just built the team and just been okay with what was on the team. And, when I was talking about team showcases and stuff like that, I should have just made the showcase about the leader and not the whole entire team. Just here's the leader, here's what subs I'm using on the team, and then just go from there. But I'm not coming back to the aspects of it no more. And pretty much just gave up on live streaming at its own. But that's for a whole nother video in which I talk about it. But for the most part, I did want to reflect on Puzzles and Dragons. And I mean, the good times were there, of course, because a lot of people that I've met playing this game and a lot of the aspects of them um, while playing the game, a lot of the very positive feedback that did come from a lot of the things that I did try, and just the overall, setup of it. My 5 years in the game, my me now being ranked 600, because I only have 100 more uh, rank to go till I get the 700 Memorial Machine, which I think was just included in the patch a couple of weeks ago. That just entailed that once you hit that rank, you were able to obtain another freebie from Gung Ho themselves, and then just following up from there. So, yeah, I'm really much enjoying it overall. I'm really enjoying a large aspect of the game itself, and um, just as on a casual level, um, and just yeah, I really ain't much to say after that. But I did just want to give you guys a little closeout to Puzzles and Dragons and just my overall lineup of Puzzles and Dragons. I'm not going to go into the box or anything, but currently, right now, one of the teams I'm still playing, still have a lot of fun playing, is actually with Barbara and Julie, um, one of the collaborations that follow for this series, in which it entails a combination of fire and water, and just utilizing those combinations. Uh, and yeah, I mean, it's pretty much where I am right now in the game itself. So as I return to the main screen, I just wanted to say thank you all so much for your support when it did come to this. And uh, the only other thing that I'm still waiting for is to see if we'll ever cross, if the Yu-Gi-Oh collaboration will come to America. For when it looks like it doesn't look like it's gonna come. Sad face, because it might be exclusive to Japan, like how Power Rangers was exclusive to the the NA servers, because that can happen, exclusives. So, um, I mean, if it ever does happen, and we do get translations and stuff like that, I definitely would love to do a video and love to show off my roles from that video. But other than that, I mean, at this point, it's just pretty much time to end the video itself. And I just want to thank you guys so much for your support. And hopefully, I'll see you guys in some more of my future content, because at this point, it's just going to be strictly Yu-Gi-Oh! Related, Yu-Gi-Oh! Based at that point. Um, And I do wish a lot of you guys your best when it comes to this game. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch you guys next time. So HPJ signing out. Take care.